Well, look what we have going on behind me here. We have a somewhat functioning shed, which has been a long time coming. There's still some things left to finish on it, of course. Got to paint the whole thing yet, got to put some latches on the door here, finish a few things, but it's getting there to where I can at least use it a little bit. So today I want to try an experiment on something that kind of happened as a result of this shed. Let me show you a little more. So we still have our pretty much drought going on right now. Now it has not rained for a month, and I'm keeping this alive. So although it looks like it's not in good shape right now, it's still alive. I'm keeping it watered every 2 weeks or so, just enough to make sure nothing dies out. But here's kind of the main problem. So with that shed and doing all that work, we were walking on a lot of this area out here right by the shed. And this area, you know, once you get a lot of traffic on it, especially when it's in that condition, you can have some die out. Now, some of these things to me look like they might be dead, but sometimes it fools you a little bit. So we're just gonna see what happens here, and I wanna do a little experiment, kind of see what condition this grass is actually in. So with all this traffic and plus without the rain, this ground is absolutely hard as a rock right now. And here's the product that I'm going to be using. This is from the Simple Lawn Solutions. Same company that I was using my humic acid for, and I'm going to be using some more things this fall as far as their fertilizers go. So what happens when you get really compacted ground like we have now is that the root system of the plant is not usually getting very much water. The water runs off the top of the surface a lot of times. And also, there's not any airflow down there in the root zone as well. So the grass does need some oxygen in order to survive. And when we have a really compacted hard ground like that, there's no way for the air to infiltrate down into that zone. So I'm gonna set up a little experiment here to see how well this stuff works. So what I've rigged up here is just a little post into the ground at the exact spot that I want to measure how much water is getting put down. Then also I just have a rain gauge that I attach to it. That way when I start watering here, I know how much water went into the specific spot that I'm kind of wanting to test. Then I'm going to use the soil loosener on this side of the post, and on the other side of the post I will not use anything at all. Then we'll see what kind of results we get. With one application, I'm not sure how much that it's going to make a big difference, but just going to try to experiment and find out. I'm also very quickly going to try to very lightly rake up some of these little matted areas that you see right here. Just because they are so matted down, I'm not sure if I can actually get the product down to the soil. So I want to try to pick that up a little bit. So this specific product goes a very long way as far as spraying. So this one covers 32,000 square feet for just this bottle. So you want to apply 1 ounce per 1,000 square feet. And you can do that with a pump sprayer or a hose end sprayer. I'm going to be using just this bottle attached to a hose end sprayer today. So just keep that in mind. This little 32 ounce bottle covers a lot of ground. So we don't need a whole lot of product here, but I'm just going to spray it down in this little area, get things wet, hopefully get it down to the soil, and then we'll see what happens. If you look really closely here, you should be able to see some bubbles actually. So what this is essentially, there's a couple right there. It's essentially really high-powered soap. So what it does is actually just helps the water to better get into the soil there instead of just running off this hard dirt. So now we need to water this area at least 1/4 of an inch. I'll probably go a little bit more here since I'm so dry. And then we'll probably come back tomorrow and see if we have any results or see what happens. Okay, so now it is the next day, and of course as soon as I turn on the video my air conditioner starts running, but as you notice I also don't have a hat on. Really weird, I know. I'm not really liking it myself, but let's look at some results here and I'll show you after just 1 day what I'm finding. And also what's happened between now and then is basically yesterday I put down 1/4 of an inch of water on both sides, and then last night we got probably another 1/4 of an inch of rain. That's the first rain we've had at all for over a month now. So it wasn't a lot, but it was something. At least that's going to help a little bit. So both sides have gotten even water. I'm going to use my little aeration tool here to kind of test how easily I can get into the ground with that. I wish I had my soil probe on me right now, but someone else is borrowing it. So once I get that back, I can also do another test to use that soil probe and see what kind of results we have there. But let's check out this aeration tool. So you can tell with that left side there that the water's probably gone down maybe a couple inches into the soil now. It has helped a little bit, but I'm not really able to get any farther than that down into the soil, and then I hit kind of that hard as a rock zone that we were having going on. Let's try the other side. So while on that right side, I don't seem to be having much of an issue at all pushing it into the ground, and I'm not hitting that hard dirt just a couple inches down like I was on the other side. It seems to be working really well. And on the bottle it says you could do this in spring and fall a couple times a year, maybe even more than that. Again, this bottle was for 32,000 square feet. It says only 1 ounce per 1,000 square feet. I probably went a little bit more than that on my first application here, but we kind of have an extreme case of how compacted the dirt is right now too. Okay, so I just couldn't resist and I have to do one final test once I got this little tool back here. So this thing is a little soil probe. This is going to give me an idea of how deep I can get into the soil here. It works a little bit better than that aerating tool, the little manual one that I have. So let's try this out. Well, I'm extremely impressed with those results from the right side of only one time spraying that soil loosener, and kind of testing with this thing gave us an idea of how much easier you can get down into the soil. The sample that I took had moisture almost all the way down to the bottom of the core that I took with this thing. So pretty impressive stuff. I'll have a link to this product in the description, and I thank you very much for checking out this video. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.